Whatever. I took that out of there. Why is it still playing that? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. I don't know. I changed that script last week. Well, okay. I thought I did. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. As you can maybe, oh, by the way, we're over on YouTube. Go over there because that's where we're going. Next week, we won't be on Lamb Radio. We'll be only on YouTube. A lot of the shows are doing that. But as you can see behind me, I don't know how to do this because everything's backwards. Today, we're releasing the Kraken. And I don't know, I hope you can see this okay, but my ship and my tugboat is getting overrun by Kraken. And so today we're releasing the Kraken on everything. So what are you laughing at, Sandy?
Well, that octopus you have there, it looks very similar to a toy Jonathan had when he was little.
A toy?
Yeah, I thought that our ship looked more modern.
Look more modern? Oh, you didn't see. I'm sorry, you didn't see the title of today's show. Today is only visiting this planet in the year 1937.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I neglected to inform you what we were doing. I mean, you're only the co-host. Last week, I introduced Candi Sandi as, you see, there's many names for her. I introduced her as guest co-host because last week she was a guest. This week, we brought her in as an actual co-host. So...
How many shows have we done together?
9,437.
There you go. It's
what
new every day. It's new every time.
It better be.
Okay.
What's up? Toy? That's no toy. That. Let me see. That. I got to figure. That is a Kraken. What?
Scratch its back. Try to do that.
Do that.
Scratch its back.
Scratch the Kraken.
There you go.
Now here, let me do it with this finger. What? Come on now. Oh, I got. See, I can't. There. Let's see. He didn't feel that one. So. Now, but you see, that isn't the only one. See, you're actually kind of missing the whole deal here because you can't see the whole thing. There's actually a Kraken alligator in. See, so I'm gonna get Sandy going. And there's a Kraken turtle. You got yourself one Kraken turtle.
One big turtle comparatively.
Yeah, this is your that's because they're Kraken turtles. Oh. Okay. It's a Kraken turtle, and then there's another octopus right there. See, it's that one's there. These are real. These are real Kraken animals there. And then you got your crustaceans. See, you got your. See, it's all about the Kraken crustaceans. What did you say?
I said that's a Kraken lobster. That's bigger than all the rest. That would be pretty wicked.
Okay, there now. Then you got the rubber Kraken crustacean there. So we're it's about as unkosher as you can get this morning. But I looked it up. There are no kosher Krakens. So there are none. I mean, they're not even mentioned in the Bible at all that you can eat a Kraken. So,
well, I just love the set. That's all I can say. You've got the luxurious white curtain and the
you like?
Yeah. So you gonna do that every week? Set the set?
Oh, I guess. It, it doesn't take much. Actually, they're shears, and my wife Adina bought them for our front porch because the sunlight comes in from that side there, and so we're gonna hang them. We had this amazing screened-in porch. That was one of the reasons we bought this house. I mean, you spend all it's all, sometimes we joked we spent this much money on a porch, and oh, by the way, the house and the yard and 50 trees came with it, so anyway, but I procured her her shears this morning and hung them up there, just so it really, I don't really even care what's back behind. I don't even care that you can see it. I just needed a backdrop for the Kraken.
Well, I like it. I must say, I'm boring. It's just my living room. So
No, your living room is awesome. I mean, it's sandy. We've all come to the conclusion that this living room is sandy.
it took me long enough to paint it, let me tell you, but now it's out of style and I got to paint over it.
Style. What does style have to do? By the way, we're in 1937 today, so it's whatever style is 1937.
Okay, well, that's not it either. So,
Oh, it's not. Okay.
anyway, I've had my mother's told me, Sandra, you've got to update your house, and I'm like, well, two things: the thought of how many hours it took to paint this whole, faux finish thing, and then the thought of the money. I'm like, well, it may just have to stick around for a while. So
We all love it. There's none of us that don't like it. I've done a poll. I did a poll, and I asked everybody. I went on Facebook, and I asked all the people that listen to Lamb Radio, and asked them all to tell us, what do you think of Sandy's paint job on her walls? And across the board, 100% was, we love it. We think it's very up to date for 1937.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you took care of that for me. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, that's what I'm here for, is to make sure it all works out for all of us.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Could a Kraken ever meet Star Trek?
I'm sure there's been many Kraken on Star Treks.
Because there's something new with Star Trek.
New, and if you're talking about Discovery, I won't discuss it.
No,
Okay.
they have a Star Trek animated series now.
And
well, not now. It's about to start, and
it's not the actual with Kirk
it's gone animated.
Okay. Well, I mean, what's it like for kids or something? Or adult animation, or what's the deal?
I don't know. The news, the little snippet says the first official Star Trek cartoon has been ordered by CBS's All Access. The Emmy-winning Rick and Morty writer Mike McCahan on the project. The show, titled Star Trek Lower Decks. Lower Decks will be a comedy centered on the support crew.
But did you notice the two words All Access?
Yeah.
That means you have to pay for it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does mean that you have to pay for it.
I am ready for a new Star Trek movie, though.
Yeah, there's one coming.
Okay,
there's a new one coming. They've gone to the crew of before, the young Star Trek people. They've gone to that.
Last 3 Star Treks.
What's that?
Not the one with the last 3 Star Treks.
The last 3 are the early.
Yeah, I like them.
They're the same people, but as younger people.
Yeah,
with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. Man, I'll watch anything with Zachary Quinto in it. That dude, as a matter of fact, I have gone back and started watching. Oh, we're doing movie and TV reviews right now, by the way. So movie and TV reviews with Mark and Sandy and the Kraken. So yeah, I've gone back and started watching Heroes, the original Heroes series. And did you watch any of those? Did John watch any of those?
Yeah. Well, I
You,
like to watch Star Trek, so yeah.
not Star Trek,
Oh,
Heroes.
the hero show. No, I've never watched those.
Okay. Well,
Sorry,
that. Go ahead.
my cats were fighting on YouTube Live just now. So, um,
I didn't notice that. Oh, something just. Oh, gosh, that thing just went. I'm sorry. On the server, things just pop up and go do whatever they want to do when they want to do it. Something's not. Wait, hold up. I hope we didn't know we're still broadcasting. Okay, good. Things just pop up on my screen, and I just have to. Where we're. Oh, what? I can't hear you.
I've never seen Heroes.
Well, Heroes. I've always kind of liked shows where they don't have superpowers; they have abilities. You know, I like that. It's like the original was like X-Men. X-Men started coming out, and they didn't have superpowers. They just came, and they called them what was it? They were mutants. The people that didn't have special abilities called the ones with special abilities mutants. You know, that's preachable right there. You know what I mean? Because I mean, even in society, we may not use the word mutants, but when we don't, when somebody's not the same as us, we call them different things, and we just don't use the word mutants. But in the noggin, we're actually thinking mutant. See, and so X-Men is kind of cool. The only thing is that now they've gone more towards, and even the spin-offs from it have gone more to, they don't have a scenario, they don't have a plot or a theme. It's all about how those that aren't mutants are trying to put away the mutants. And anyway, so and Heroes was kind of the same, but Heroes had plots and themes and different things. But Zachary Quinto, who is the guy that's playing the young Spock, okay, if you can picture Zachary Quinto,
Yes.
or the young Spock, he played the ultimate of all the different people that had special abilities. He could take on their ability and store them inside him. So every time he met another person with special ability, he took it on and kept going, with it. And he was the ultimate bad guy. He was, knocking them all off here and there. And anyway, there were several kind of bad guys. But Zachary Quinto is one of your better. What's the deal? Raccoon fighting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear
It's
that?
all right. That's all right.
That's how
raccoon cats are a form of Kraken. So you got Kraken in your living room. I have Kraken in my studio.
Yeah, but unfortunately, mine gives sound effects.
That's cool. Mine has sound effects too. See, mine have sound effects too.
Hey, I had a question for you. Completely different subject.
I have an answer for you. We're switching. We're not on movies and TVs anymore.
We can't be, because this could be a movie, but
Okay.
An Air Force C-17 prematurely dropped a Humvee by parachute in rural North Carolina, and I was wondering if you saw it.
What was it again?
A prematurely dropped a Humvee by parachute in rural North Carolina, miles from the intended target.
Yeah, it landed right out here in our driveway.
Did you get
Just we don't have we have a driveway, but it's kind of the road that comes down to our house is really more of a strip of grass with some gravel at one end that is really old, and it landed out there. No big deal. I mean, this happens two or
all the,
three times a week, you know.
did,
Not always Humvees though. You
what are
know,
some of the things that have dropped into your yard?
dropped into my yard
Yeah.
yesterday. As a matter of fact, inserts for your shoes dropped into my yard. Brand new inserts for your shoes.
Oh, are you going to use them?
They're already in my. I put them in my shoes. They feel pretty good.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I just wondered if you'd seen it. Now I know, so that's cool. Very
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
All right.
I wondered how late.
Oh, by the
Since,
way, we had a kraken come in the corner out there last week, and I collect krakens. So go ahead. Sorry. What did you start to say?
I was going to say, yesterday, of course, was a day that we do not celebrate, but I had people ringing my doorbell at 10:30 at night.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Did
I was doing that at about 11:15, but I was going to house to house, asking people if they needed an Uber ride or not.
Okay.
So see, that's what we do. Us Uber and Lyft drivers, when we don't actually have anybody ringing our phone to come and pick them up, then we go house to house and say, hey, y'all need an Uber or Lyft ride? I'm right here if you need me.
Wouldn't it be better to go bar to bar?
Oh. That's a good idea. I'll think of that next Halloween. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were going door to door, but I found they bus. I mean, people come to where we live in our area, and it gets so bad that you can't even drive down the street. It's so packed. And
Really? Because
it's
it was it was dead quiet all over everywhere I was at last night. Because I did drive last night. I mean, it's kind of a heavy night, supposed to be. I mean, Uber and Lyft for us drivers, they push it for 2 or 3 weeks before Halloween. They are sending us messages, get ready, do this and get ready, because there's going to be loads of people that are drunk out there and they want rides. And I got one last night. I got one last night. That was pretty good one. I got a good tip on it, but it's hey, really, it kind of, because I don't drive at night. I do. I mean, I can drive at night. I don't have a problem with it, but I'd rather not do Uber at night if I don't have to. But special deals where it's going to bring in the cash. Hey, I'm all about money and cracking. That's all I care about is money and cracking. And so since Uber and Lyft take care of the money end of it, we're good. So.
Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Have you gone over to YouTube yet to see what's happening over there? I've been so busy with you, I haven't even checked it out yet.
I've discovered that if I'm in my house, I don't want to mess up the stream, so I can't get in the room.
You can't get in the room?
Well, I have the ability to get in the room, but I don't, because we've had. I just don't want to slow this stream down and make it jagged.
Oh, I'm with you.
So I will only, when we're in the house, we will only be in our house broadcasting if we're just using one computer, and I won't get on any other thing that's going to take any power, because I don't want it to, by the end of the show get, what do you call it? That stop start thing.
Buffer.
I don't know what's going on. I want to know. I'm itching to know, but
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Hold up. I'm actually kind of trying to put this out so we can promote it. I'm promoting it now on Lamb Radio. So if you're there. Yeah. By the way, if you're sitting on the Lamb Radio website and you're listening to this, we're over on YouTube. I mean, next week you're not even going to be able to listen to us on the website because we're acclimating over to YouTube. So click on the button. It's right there in the middle of the screen. It says click here to watch. Do that and come on in. The Kraken's only here. They won't get you in the chat room or anything like that. So you can come and see the Kraken crawling on the ship. But you really can't see it either. But there's also a tugboat here. Let me move this. Oh! See, you see, if you're only listening on Lamb Radio, you wouldn't have any idea what that is. See,
No.
but see, there's an alligator on my finger. Oh, look, it bit it off. Oh my no. See, you can't see, but there's also a tugboat. Oh, yeah, see, there's a tugboat. Ooh. You know how long I've been waiting to be able to do that on Lamb Radio? Years. Literally years. And I'm going to reveal it today. This is the first time I'm revealing it today. The only reason that we've gone over to YouTube is so I can play with my stuff and people can watch me play with this stuff. That's it. The only reason.
Well, did you build that stuff or did you buy that stuff?
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna come clean. Gonna come clean with the Kraken. All of this stuff came with the house when we bought it.
Seriously? Somebody would
Yeah.
leave that?
Yeah, it was all out on the porch, on our screened-in porch. It was like these things were like nailed to the wall out on the porch, and the ship was in the living room. The ship back there was in the living room. By the way, today's our anniversary in that we moved on to the property 1 year ago today.
Well, happy anniversary. Tell Adina that too.
What's that?
I said happy anniversary, then tell Adina that as well.
I'm sure she's watching somewhere. Yeah, she's in the chat room, so you can tell her yourself. Tell her yourself.
Well, happy anniversary, Adina.
There we go. You didn't tell me. Oh no, you did, and say, okay, I got you.
So, do you have special plans? Like, are you going to have a party on your property, a barbecue?
I don't know. You have to ask her. She's studying for a test she's got tomorrow, so I doubt that she's planned any. Because Adina is the party planner around here. I don't. I'm just
You're not the life of the party, Mark. No.
I'm a busy homebody. I am busy clearing out the Kraken is what I'm doing. So see, there you go. If you're just sitting listening to Lamb Radio, you have no idea on the planet what the Kraken are, and that's the big deal today is knowing what the Kraken are. So I'm sorry, I'm a little busy.
What are the Kraken in the human form?
Ooh, Kraken in the human would be what you call manipulators. They're ones that will by any means manipulate a situation to go their way.
So politicians.
I had to be careful. It almost looked like I was trying to eat that. No, but no, okay. I mean, in some sense, I guess you could say politicians are Krakens, but let's take it to the Bible. I mean, the Amalekites they were Krakens. Does that make sense? The Amalekites being Krakens?
But I think we have Krakens, each and every one of us in our own lives, that try to manipulate and cause
Sure.
us to get our focus off what is true and what is right. And I think that they're there every day, or at least a lot, because we have to learn to choose rightly and to reject their word. It's a test.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
a test.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that, because that really is that's a real thing that we all have to deal with. And I'm trying to remember, there was some a couple of subjects that now I remember. Let's make that let's use that, in that some people, this is what you just said reminded me of this, and I want to make sure that it all works. But there are some people that actually get mad at God. Have you? And I want you to think of something if you can. But have you ever gotten mad at God?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember a time, and I've thought through this. I mean, literally paused and thought about it, but I, I don't think I've ever or had the ability to be mad at God.
I don't know if angry is the right word, but there's been moments, and I remember one specifically. I don't remember what it was about, but I was in my car and I was just, Father, I don't understand. This is not according to your word. Where were you? What have you been doing?
Yeah.
And maybe that's so angry and mad. Maybe those aren't quite the right words, but after I silenced my mouth, I
Uh-huh.
I really believe in this, the Holy Spirit. I mean, it was like, okay, Sandra, what about this? Who
Mm-hmm.
do you think you are? Do you not think that I have a better plan for your life? And I always expect, because I, I always expect that Yah is gonna tell me the way it is, but I also am one that believes he knows exactly what I'm thinking, or how I'm,
Sure.
so I
Sure.
just let it out. I'm like,
Well,
what have you been doing? I don't understand. Help me. Where are you? So
I'm with you. I'm with you there. It's just that, let me take it. Let's understand this, okay? Let's understand what it means to be mad or even angry
I
with
like the word
someone.
angry is better than mad, because mad to
I,
me, connotation of crazy.
okay, well then angry. And I have to put it in perspective so that I understand this, and I have to get it. Is that, let's just bring it to the physical. Forget God for right now, and let's just take it to the physical. Let's just use you and I as an example here. So, to me, for me to be angry with you, I think I would have to believe that you did something specifically on purpose, to knowing that I would not like this, and you did it, and you did it, and you know that I don't like this or don't want this, but you did it anyway. And that would connotate to me that, well, then I now have the right to actually be angry with you for doing that. Otherwise, it is long, and I have to, let's just even take it to a different category within the same thing. Is that, first of all, to be angry at that situation, I'd have to find out, did you actually do it on purpose? If you did something and you know that I didn't like that, or I didn't want that, and You did it anyway. Would is there a possible scenario where you didn't have any choice? You forgot, all of those things. So how could I be angry with you if you legitimately, and I would have to trust you in that situation, you legitimately did not do it specifically knowing that it was going to affect me. You get what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. I
Right.
know you understand that.
I understand that. And so I guess the correct word that I need to use for how I've been is, you know, working out my frustration and my lack of understanding and expressing my feelings. So maybe anger or being mad at God wasn't the correct word, but I do know people who are. My uncle, for example, um,
Well, don't
not
get me wrong, I do too. That's my deal is that when I hear somebody say they're mad at God or they're angry with God for something, then I have to analyze that. It's like,
well,
how? Go
my
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
my uncle, for example, um, my family on my mom's side are all Seventh Day Adventist, have been for generations, and I don't think he was like a devout person that did that, not like the rest of the family, but nonetheless, uh, to about 3 years ago, maybe, there was a big thing on Good Morning America about Lainey, and Lainey was my is his daughter, so my cousin, so second cousin, what or, and she died of cancer. I mean, it was a big deal. They did stuff on Good Morning America for everything, and since then, he wants nothing to do with God, and that hurts my heart because, and now I'm thinking I'm doing this on YouTube Live, anybody can watch this, but that bitterness and that anger is going to destroy his life physically and in this world, and that sounds bad, now and later to come. It can't be resolved unless he walks in forgiveness. He literally has put up a block. I don't want anything to do with God. So he has this anger towards him, but he's not the only one. I hear people about that all the time. People that have been of faith. There's a pastor that I know of, and he he was serving and then something happened. He's totally walked away from any kind of belief whatsoever. And there's more like a vial that comes out anytime you speak of Yah. And all I know is it says it's better to never have known than to have known and walked away. And that's heartbreaking. And that's where we've got to trust him. When the hard stuff comes, we've got to trust him that it's going to be okay, that he's going to turn it around for his glory. But it's hard to see and some at moments, but that I think it's bitterness, and that bitterness and anger turns into hate, because it's a spiritual aspect. It even brings in the demonic. It opens the door for so much to consume your life, and that bile and that vitriol can spread, because then all of a sudden you have another message and you're working for the other side. You may say, I don't believe in that either, but they're still working for the other side. So I guess being angry with God, that's not exactly what I was speaking of, because there's a difference between, talking through your frustration and literal a literal anger that turns into something far greater. And I think you see that in America. You see that that hatred towards God in so many people. And I mean, that is why we have good called evil and evil called good, is because they didn't get what they wanted or how they wanted it, or they don't want to follow the rules. And so anything that with the name God or Jesus, much less Yehovah, Yahweh, or Yeshua, it it's a hatred. And I think that's why you see things too, like the shooting that happened at the synagogue on Shabbat, because there's a hatred towards the kingdom of God and anything to do with God. And that's the kind of world we're living in. It's so kingdom against kingdom right now. The lines have been drawn. I've heard Eddie talk, there is already a civil war in this country. It just hasn't manifested with guns ablazing yet.
I said that in January 2018. I even told Eddie that in January 2000, no, I mean, sorry, 17. when all of it was happening in the country against Trump and Hillary and everything. And so yeah, I'm there. Okay, let me take it from there, because my brain analyzes this thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I have not been. I'm not saying that I haven't been angry with a physical person, not knowing the reason behind doing whatever they did that was seemingly against me, or let's say Lamb Radio or something like that. Because I mean, it is our human nature for most people, I believe, to judge first what's going on and be angry about it rather than finding out the whole story. It's more of the situation has happened and you're angry because now it's causing you to do more or something, or somebody messes something up with Lamb Radio and they know better, then I'm angry. It's not, I don't think it's so much with them, it's with, and I'm not thinking of a specific situation right now, so don't start thinking of who was this. It's not, it's just in general over the past 6 years that, it's now I have to do this. So I'm a little bit angry about that. So here I'm trying to analyze this. I'm trying to reason this out with you, because we are a part of the morning shows, which are subtitled "Let Us Reason Together," and so that really is what I've thought about for a long time. Is that based on the definition of to be angry with a particular being, like a physical being or a deity, which there is really only one, you would have to, I would personally have to believe that this entity did this on purpose. You see what I'm saying? So that's my definition of when somebody says that God, they're angry at God for this particular thing, then my brain immediately goes to my definition of being angry at an entity. And that means that God had to specifically do this against you, knowing that you wouldn't like it, and did it anyway. Though God doesn't answer to our beck and call. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that, oh, they don't like this. Okay, well, then I won't do it. I mean, God doesn't work that way. Of course, we know it doesn't work that way. But to me, I can't, I think that when we're talking about getting angry at God or getting mad at God or whatever, I don't have the ability to do that, because I know that God governs my life. I don't govern God's life, and God doesn't do things based on what I even need, or especially want, but what I even need. And so if things don't go the way I think that they should, then I have to know that there are circumstances around whatever happened, and God is handling the situation the way God's going to handle it, and I just have to accept that. I mean, that's the way my brain processes things that are going on. And so when we're talking like what you were talking about, how there are people that are angry at God, and they're like killing people in a synagogue, and they're angry with God. You're not. If you're angry with God, you really don't understand. And that's where I'm going with it. So I guess people that are out there listening, or you're going to listen to the archives of this or whatever. By the way, we're on YouTube right now, so I see more people coming into Lamb Radio. Just click on that YouTube link and Lamb Tube link there, and come on over and be with us. Hey, what's up? And so you see what I'm saying. So you get what I'm saying then?
Yeah, actually, I was looking up some things while you were talking,
Yeah, do
and
it.
I saw the official definition is a strong feeling of displeasure or of, and usually of antagonism. And but then I looked up anger, the psychology of anger, and it's exactly what you just expressed. Anger is an emotion characterized by antagonism towards someone or something you feel has deliberately done you wrong. But then it says it can be a good thing. It can be a way to express your negative feelings and motivate you to find solutions. So,
Okay. That sounds like a godly answer.
uh, no, to me, that sounds like a
Oh,
good excuse. I can be
oh,
angry and it's a good thing. I can hate,
oh,
and it's
okay.
a good
Well,
thing. That's
yeah,
how I see it.
I
But,
see.
um,
Yeah,
but I think that, oh, I will give you an example. When we have done, John and I have done deliverance, we have not come across one person. I don't care if they're pastors or people that have been in the world. We have not come across one person that doesn't have an issue that they have to go to for anger and rage as well. Not one, not one. And I know that's a that's a different show, but it is so prevalent in our society. Our society is an angry society. We're a society who blames everybody else for our own issues, who can't, and therefore they can't ever grow, and they can't ever be healed of those issues because they're blaming everybody else. So it's not their fault, but they're angry at the world. They're angry that they years ago that they coffee was hot and they spilled it. They're angry that somebody would tell them that there's a different or a better way to do things. And so you walk around, everybody's angry, everybody is out for themselves and expressing their anger towards everything. And that is why I believe that is in part why we have never dealt with one person that doesn't, they don't even know that there's an issue, that there's an issue there. And our society is a society of angry people. There's, now I'm not saying every person. There are people out there, believers that aren't that, but
sure,
let's say in general,
sure.
it's a society where anger is driving. Look at the news. Anger drives everything. Anger drives the protests. Even, and yeah, there's deception in that. But here's the whole word of deception: you don't know that you're deceived, so you think it's all real, so you're angry about it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the news is full of.
Well, okay, I'm hearing you. I'm agreeing with you. I think my answer to what you just talked about is that I think people really just don't understand. I think it's that they haven't thought through these things. It's interesting to me that people that meditate, people that take time away from everything and other people, even spouses and the whole thing, those people are not as angry because they think through things and they get to a point where they understand what's going on around them rather than just living moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, because then they just react. And I do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, but there I also take time every day not only to talk to God but go through things, try to process, what's going on in my life, what are the changes, and why are these changes taking place, so that I understand that and I don't get angry at something that is beyond my control. First of all, I think that's a lot of things that people. So what? Let me finish that sentence. I do this. I jump because my brain's going there. I think that's the deal. Is that people are not trying to realize and think through the fact that there are many things that are beyond our control. So to me, the next level is that, and my wife will attest to this. I get more angry at myself than I do at other people and situations, because I know that 99.9% of these situations or problems or things that happen in my life can, if I backtrack to find out what happened, it's something that I've done. It's something that I set in motion, and I don't have any reason to be angry at anybody or God or anything, because I'm the one that did this, and I'm the one that set that in motion. So I need to recognize that, and I do so much, because I think about this, that probably 99% of the time when I'm yelling and screaming and I'm upset about something, it's because I did something that I knew better, and yet, or I didn't think it through and I did it anyway, and then problems called and I'm going, yes, I mean, I'm angry at myself. But I do get angry at people that, no, it's like sin is knowing to do good but doing it not. And that's in James. So to me, being angry is more being angry at my own sin, because I know to do good or I know to do something right, and I do it not.
Well, I think you're the exception to the rule, because most people don't say, "Oh, it's my fault." They just don't.
Everybody thinks that I'm the exception to every rule there's ever been. No, I'm sorry. Go
That's a
ahead.
good thing, Mark, because that's how we should all be. Look what I did. If I would have turned right here or listened, I can't tell you how many times, even now, that I just have this voice in which I believe it's the Ruach, the Holy Spirit. And why don't you do this right now? And I'm like, oh, I'll take care of it later. And then come to find out this and this happened. And I'm like, oh, I should have listened. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And so I do understand that anger with yourself, but unfortunately, our society doesn't like to acknowledge that they've ever done anything wrong. They want to be king of the hill. They want to be the boss, and they believe, pride, which is the very sin that takes us down. Pride would prevent them from ever acknowledging that they had a part
That's
in
right.
what's going on.
That's good. Hey, real quick, I want to tell her if anybody wants to call in and join in with us on this, because I'm watching the chat room here on YouTube, and I wish you could too, Sandy. Sorry that you can't. Next week, do it in the church, and then maybe you can do it too. Go ahead.
I don't want to get up and go over there.
Yeah, I know it. I know. I'm with you. What are you? A whole 3 minutes from there. So,
7,
okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
7.
Anyway, so if you want to call in, and we would love for you to call in and join in with this. We've got another basically 20 to 25 minutes. We do have a new phone number, and I'm sitting here and I can answer it because we can hear it. The number is 910. I'm going to type this in as I say it. 910-803-3211. And if you want to call in, because we're seeing so many people here that are responding to this, and also too, still people over on Lamb Radio, I'm telling you, this is the last broadcast of Only Visiting This Planet that's on Lamb Radio. Next week is going to be music, so you need to acclimate to come over to LambTube. Click on the link there in the middle of the page. Says click here to watch LambTube, and you come over here and watch Sandy and I and the Kraken. And we're releasing the Kraken today, by the way. And that literally is understanding, because Krakens are evil things in your life that come against you. They're manipulators, and we're smacking the Krakens. Ooh, looky there. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. See, but if you're on YouTube, could you see what I just did? Is I smacked the Kraken, and I mean, we'll even eat a couple of them if we need to. They're not kosher, so we're not going to eat them. We might chew them up and spit them out, but we're releasing the Krakens, and so here's the deal: is that being angry so here's one of the reasons that I brought up this subject. And so we're going to kind of we morph things together. Sandy and what?
Did you bring it up or did I bring it up?
Oh, I brought it up. I brought it up because of something you were talking about, and it did kind of morph into that. That's what Sandy and I do. We go on rabbi trails. We go on Kraken trails is what we're going to call it from now on, Sandy and I, because we're talking about one thing, and then we're actually, the next thing we're going to do is like a Kraken trail. And so just talking to my Kraken, letting them know, we've released you now, we're taking care of you. Go. Hey, you guys over there on Lamb Radio, go over to Lamb Tube. Hey, we got somebody new come in. You want to call in? Call in. I can hear you. We'll talk to you. Nobody's calling in. Okay, here's the deal. And I'm gonna morph the TV and movies, because I like TV and movies and shows and stuff, and they actually, there's some things in some of them that are pretty good. And I was telling Sandy about this earlier this week. Is we watch a show because we like it. It's a very decent show called The Good Doctor, and have you seen it, Sandy?
Yes,
at all?
Yes,
you have. You guys watch it on a regular basis?
I not on a regular basis, but
okay. Well, we watch it through Hulu, and because then it takes all the commercials out. And this last episode they had was called Carrots. It's season 2, episode 5, if you're going to look it up. And what they had on there was a lady that is anorexic. She has a loving husband and a loving little boy. Looked like maybe he was 10 or 12. And the little boy didn't realize his mother was anorexic and found out. But of course, being anorexic, your different organs shut down, and she had to have some kind of surgery, and she wouldn't eat and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, she wanted to. She wants to eat. She just expressed, because anorexia is a mental condition. They even talked about that on the show, and I've heard this for years. Everybody that knows anything about anorexia, it is a mental condition. And the lady wants to eat. She wants to solve this problem. She just can't do it. So on the show, they found out that they could actually do a surgery where they could go into a part of her brain and fix that some way. They could release the Kraken within her brain. I don't know. I don't know what it was or the medical term. So I'm just going to say release the Kraken in her brain. But the what do you call it when there are not alternatives, but there are the side what do you call it, Sandy? The side thing. The what?
The side effects?
Side effects to this. One of the side effects is that it could change your personality, for one thing. But the other thing was that it would most likely cause her not to love her child. And we literally had to put it on pause, and Adina and I had to talk about this for a while, because this is inconceivable to me, that there could be a physical thing, and apparently it's matriarchal, so it's only in women. The men don't have this in their brain, but it's only in women that that. And we discussed it. It's like my brain is going, how could God put something in our brain that could cause us to possibly not love our children? And now, based on everything else we've talked about, I can't be mad at God, but it's a question of how. I don't even want to say the word why, but how? Because Adina's saying this is a real thing. And I'm because she's saying there are women that they give up their kids and stuff because when the kids are born they this thing is it's like the dopamine and chemical imbalance in our brain and this is a part of that has a chemical imbalance and it causes the mother to not actually love her child. I don't get that. That is a physical thing because to me, love is spiritual. It's not an imbalance. It's not a chemical balance of something in our brain. That's not love. I can't believe that. I can't go with that. I can't do that. I'm just not there. So talk to me, Sandy.
Well,
set me straight. Set me straight, Sandy, because I don't get it.
I don't get that either. But first off, love is not a emotion. Love is a choice. And so we've got to, the whole thing that definition needs to be completely corrected in people's mindset. Oh, I'm in love. Oh, I love. We pass that word around so casually. And I guess it's really sort of an in, not the opposite, but in opposite of anger. But as to how a mother cannot love her child, well, I think the word says that there becomes a rift between fathers and sons and mothers and daughters, etc., and that love will be restored. So for love to be restored, it has to have left. And now, is that addressing the specific issue that you're speaking of? No. But we as believers have got to understand it's not about how we feel. It never has been. We don't serve Yeshua based on how we feel. We just serve him. We don't love our brother because we feel love. We choose to love. And our actions must follow. I mean, it's very evident. We want to have, excuse me, you're going to have to take over for a minute because I'm going to cough.
It's okay. I'm hearing what you say, and I'm also reading the. Let me read just real quick the. In the chat room, Tova is piping up real big time. She says, I keep saying I'm releasing the Kraken, and Tova says, well, I'm releasing the Ruach HaKodesh. Well, there you go. So anyway, she said also how devastating for the child. I saw a story last night how hacker can hack implants used in Parkinson's patients' brains. So the doctors are calling for security. Okay. Yah didn't design the brain that way. Thoughts, generational inequity, etc., transmute our body systems. Love is energy and has the effect to heal the physical body, or unreceived love or unreturned love can hurt the body. This is scientifically proven. She got to get back to work. So, okay, can you talk now?
Yeah. I'm just all about we've got to stop the mentality that love is an emotion. That's the bottom line.
Oh, by far.
And that's really Eddie was talking about when he was here. He talked about it at Sukkot, but he talked about it again here in Amarillo when he was at Life of Worship, Eddie Chumney. And one of the things that brings us to maturity that Yah is going to look at to see if we're the pure and spotless bride is the mishpatim, is loving our brother as ourselves, loving Yah with all our heart, mind, and soul, and loving our brother as ourselves. And we don't love one another. And we may say that, oh, I love you. Think about how casually we pass around the word. I love you, love you, love you. We say that all the time, or at least girls do. But I've even heard guys say it. But do we really understand what we're saying? And do our actions follow those words? And the answer is no. by anybody. We all need to better that. That's why we're supposed to be working on that. And we look at the last five, some say six, but the last 5, 6 of the big commands are about how we treat one another. And yet we become so self-consumed, walking around, becoming a society that's walking around in anger and blaming one another, and that we expose our brother so it can benefit our own selves, or we harm our brother, thinking, this isn't that big of a deal. But that is the opposite of what love is. Love covers. Love covers. We cover each other. We aren't quick to judge. We're there to pick up the pieces when we're broken and hurting. But, and that's, imagine what it would be if everybody that claims they're a believer, especially in the Hebrew roots community, would really start loving their brother with everything we have. We would have a transformed society just with that. And then if we walk to the Christian church and everybody who claims to be a believer there would do the same, we would not be in the mess we're in. But instead, we're driven by anger and hate.
We're in a mess.
We are in a mess.
I'm on the road to a mess. Oh, I'm on the road to Emmaus. I'm sorry.
That's a whole other topic.
What Sandy has to put up with just to release the Kraken.
I like it. I like to have fun. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody that's not here on YouTube Live, you just saw Mark eat the Kraken one more time, or spread the size of his mouth around the whole Kraken.
Well, that's fine. Instead of watching YouTube, Sandy's kind of the interpreter, so those that are listening on Lamb Radio, she gets to describe exactly what's going on. So, we have, it's a physical manifestation of a spiritual thing. It's what it is. But this is a good subject, I think. I mean, it's like, I say that I never get mad at God. I don't get angry at God, because I understand that God has a plan, and my plan doesn't always work with God. And I find that let's take it real quick. We got say 6-7 minutes. You were talking, it must have been on Let Us Reason Together show with your husband the other day. I think it was this past Monday, that you were talking about how things are going for Jonathan in the prison, and how they're looking up to him and they're bringing him their situations for him to pray about it. And what was the name they gave him, by the way?
They said, "You're the most honorable man we've ever met. Why are you here?"
Yeah.
And now I even got a letter yesterday. He has a Bible study of 5 people are at it now. And before, he says, "Mom, there's no light here." But he's built up enough that 5 people come. And then he said that young and old, he says, "Mom, I have men 2-3 times my age. They come to me and want to talk and ask what they should do in their life for advice." But yeah, that's what.
So I'm not going to go where I can go with this. I'm going to go with a different direction and say that we should listen to every syllable, every letter, word that you say that is happening with Jonathan. We should listen to this and say, we don't have to do that. We don't have to go to prison to do this. We can do this. We should be changing people's lives. We talked last night about me being an Uber driver, and the one thing that they are very explicit in Uber and Lyft is that you can't talk about politics and religion. Now, on my they let you put in a description of your hobbies or the things that you do, and one of the things that I put in there specifically is that I own an online radio station. Now, a lot of my rides have looked at my description there, or whatever you call it. I can think of the word of what it is, but and bring this up. Okay, so now they've opened up what it is, and I can tell them, what it's about, and I can and read if they want to go on with that. But I've had the ability to now talk to several people about this, and I can remember 3 that are very interested in what this is about. And so our deal is to put ourselves into a place where we can share who we are and what we believe. And I mean, I could go there with Jonathan, and then I don't want to I think what you were talking about earlier, where you were mad at God or angry with God, was probably about this situation. God, why would you allow Jonathan to have to go through this? And once again, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure people have brought it up that we just need to make the best of every situation. More than anything else, Sandy, more than anything on this planet, it'd be hard to keep my countenance, is to listen to my daughter talk about people that are not following the Lord. I just heard her talking to her mom just last night about people that she knows, that we've known forever, for years and years, 20 years, and they're not following, they're not totally committed. And what was it? I saw some military thing, like like special forces or Marines or something. We're not looking for somebody to sign up. We're looking for people with commitments, and it's to hear my daughter talking about, why doesn't somebody live for the Lord? That's the best thing ever that I could hear. And for you to hear, even though with Jonathan in the situation that he's at, to hear these things about him. Wow. Wow.
I am so proud of him. And by the way, he, in his last letter, he said, please tell Mark and Lamb Radio hi. He says, I cannot wait to be back praying. He says, it will be soon. I believe that God's going to do a miracle. It's going to be soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would want it, but I'm going to send you, he's writing a newsletter, and I'm going to send you his latest, and y'all can do with it what you want. But I am so proud of him.
Yeah, I know it. We are too, but not like a mother. So don't ever have that surgery where it takes away whatever the balance is for you to love your child. Okay, we gotta go. We're done here. That's a good note to end on. Hey, can Jonathan get on YouTube there?
No, he has no access to anything.
Yeah. Okay.
He doesn't even have shoes yet, so
okay.
He doesn't have anything right now.
Okay. That's another story. Okay, very good. This has been a great show. Thanks everybody for coming over and joining us on YouTube. Once again, next week, as with a lot of our shows already a lot of our shows are going to YouTube only. We're acclimating them over there because I've got a lot of shows I have to work with, and I just can't mess with both right now. So we're doing that. So if you can't find your favorite show's over on YouTube. and you can go watch the archives of them, blah, blah, blah. We got a new update coming out Sunday morning. I'm working on it right now with Susan and I. This is going to be a really good one, and it'll be the last one where we talk about all the changes going on. I know we've over inundated everybody with all this, but Sandy, this has been good. It's been great. I enjoy doing this with you.
Me too. Thank you, Mark.
You bet. You bet. Don't you take care of your raccoon Kraken over there, because we didn't get to see him today. I didn't even hear him, but
I imagine everybody else did. You were yeah.
was talking. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna go out like normal with you praying, and yes, to your answer from last week. Be sure and mention everything else. Okay. We'll see y'all next week.
Father, we come before you and we thank you for the opportunity that we can spread forth your word, Father, that we can laugh together, that we can cry together because you've given us this family. Thank you, Father, that your plans and your vision for Lamb Radio has gone beyond even what we would have thought before, but you are expanding and changing things up. And Father, where you go, we want to go. Father, let this word go forth strongly into places and areas that Lamb Radio in its form right now may have never reached, and let your word literally transform all those around. Father, go before us and help us to love our neighbor. Follow your commands, and Father, love and truly love, and cast all anger aside, and let us walk in the fullness of your spirit in all that we do. Give us those opportunities to love one another. We thank you for what you're doing in our lives. We thank you for Lamb Radio and Lamb Tube and everybody that you're reaching and touching with these words and these shows. Father, thank you for our leader, and thank you that that our leaders, and thank you that they listen to your word. We give it all to you, all praise and honor and glory. And in all things, we need to be excellent to each other.